best that ever did it, aka Underdog King, a true winner, 6 p.m. We back with some college football, week 12. And we're gonna start it off with the Wednesday slate and the Thursday slate. Central Michigan coming in this one against an Ohio team, 7-3. Michigan's 5-5. Ohio's coming this one 10-point win against Buffalo. Couldn't beat Miami of Ohio. They're on a win one, lose one streak. And this team, they're on a win one, lose one streak as well. Couldn't beat Western Michigan last week. Beat NIU. Couldn't beat Ball State and beat Akron. Like I said, I like what I've seen from Ohio more at this point of the year. 4-1 at home versus 1-5 on the road. I gotta side with Ohio State on the money line. Ohio State to get a job done on the money line. I'm not gonna overcomplicate it. Just take them as a parlay piece or whatever. Ohio on the money line. Buffalo getting 7.5 against a 8-2 Miami of Ohio team. I like Miami of Ohio to win the game comfortably. As you see, Buffalo only put up 10 points last week in 4 quarters. I like Miami of Ohio to get a dominant win, 10-point victory. I'll lay the 7.5 with Miami of Ohio. Boston College at Pitt. Now, Boston College is the much better team, but they have been looking bad last week against Virginia Tech. They let them boys 26-piece them. And then, you know what I'm saying? They let UConn stay in the game with them. But they're not get it twisted, you know. This Boston College team is 6-4. They're still way better than Pitt. Pitt was a no-show against Syracuse. You know what I'm saying? They put up 7-7 against the good teams, and then they put up 13 against Syracuse, a team that they could beat. Couldn't beat Wake Forest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about to touch this team with a 10-foot pole. I don't see how they're the favorite. How is Pitt the favorite? It's a goofy ass answer. Boston College will beat these boys. Boston College will beat these boys. I've got Boston College and Castellanos to get the job done. Now, Friday slate, we got USF versus UTSA, and it's a 60-point total for a reason. We already know USF is a very high-scoring team, and also so is UTSA. I like the game to get in the 60s. I definitely like the over. If you could buy it down to even 60, that's perfect. But we definitely gonna probably get in the high 60s, low 70s. I like UTSA to cover the spread and cover the total. Frank Harris is one of the best quarterbacks in this conference. I think he is the best quarterback in their conference. Frank Harris is carrying this team far, far, and they barely beat Temple. Temple's terrible. You know what I'm saying? 50-59 against Memphis. 109-point game in football. You know what I'm saying? I think we get well over the total. Over is the strongest play, and I like UTSA to cover the spread. Colorado at Washington State. Now, we were on Colorado last week against AZ, and, they fell short late, but they did get the cover. I was on Colorado money line, and they fell short, but we were on the right track. You know what I'm saying? I knew Colorado was going to compete. Arizona has no defense. And this team right here, Washington State, let Cal upshow them last week. I like Cal a lot. Like I said at the beginning of the year. But this Stanford game is the one that hurt the most for this Washington State team. And Colorado also knows about Stanford, as they lost that game at 43-46 overtime loss. They were up big the whole game and let them boys come back and win. And then they lose by 3 last week. Like I said, man, this is going to be a track meet. I like the over. This is going to be another 70-point game. I like the over. And I like Washington State to get the job done at home. I like Washington State to get the job done now. Southern Methodist, SMU at Memphis. You know what I'm saying? SMU is a big favorite in this one for what? SMU is good, though. Don't get me wrong. I know how good SMU is. I do. Look at this. Rice. They let Rice put up 31. They let Rice put up 31. Before that, early in the year, they lost to TCU and they lost to Oklahoma. Pretty good losses. And Memphis, on the other hand, they've lost to, I believe, Tulane. Yeah, they lost to Tulane and Mizzou, a neutral site. Yeah, I like the defense way more on SMU. I do think the defense is way better on SMU. But this is an offensive front in Memphis that's like they're at home and they're 8-point underdogs. I'll take the points with Memphis. SMU is the better team up and down defensively and offensively. They can match Memphis' offense. I think SMU is the better team, but we see this stuff happen all the time. Everybody's riding high on SMU. I got Memphis to cover this one in an upset type of game. Abilene Christian at Texas A&M. Now we already know Texas A&M is the much better team. Let's be real here. But Abilene Christian not bad. 5-5, pretty much a even team. But this team 5-1 at home. I'm not getting in the way of that. Texas A&M the latest spread. Purdue at Northwestern. I gotta go with Northwestern. Purdue is not anybody I'm looking back. I've seen Purdue play, and there's no way I'm backing that team after that last game. I've seen them play against. I think it was was it Nebraska? Iowa. It was the Iowa game. If you go back and watch this Iowa game, you would never pick Purdue again. I got Northwestern. They've turned it around. 4-1 at home. Started off the year utterly awful, but they turned it around as of late. I got Northwestern and I want to win the game outright. Louisville at Miami. Louisville is 9-1. Miami 6-4. Great Miami home team though, 5-1 at home. It's where they do most of their winning at. And Louisville is one of those teams that's super streaky. They lost to Pitt out of all teams. You know what I'm saying? Upset. And then they almost lost to North Carolina State. Other than that, Duke would never had a shot. Virginia Tech never had a shot. Virginia, it was close. They even beat Notre Dame and made them not. They didn't even look like Notre Dame had a shot at all. I got Louisville the later number, 2 points. I'll take Louisville, but this is a very close game. Miami might be able to pull off the upset. Southern Miss at Mississippi State. And you know I'm going with Mississippi State. I've never been on Southern Miss the whole year. They think because Frank Gore's son's over there, they're going to be good. No, he needs to get traded. I like Mississippi State to cover the spread. 2 touchdowns. Michigan State at Indiana. 2 doormats. I'm not touching either one, but if I had to pick a side, I will pick Indiana. Michigan State isn't looking enthusiastic at all, man. I'm sorry. I just can't get there with Michigan State. They got to wait for next year. Indiana has a little bit more to play for, just a slightly bit. There's no playoff contentions or anything, but they have slightly more, like pride to play for. I got Indiana. Money line. Chattanooga at Alabama. Nick Saban squad. This is a good Chattanooga team that's getting 44 points. I'll take the 44 plus with Chattanooga. I know they're not on Alabama's level, but I'll take 44. I think they win by 32, 35, even 38, but they're not 44. Oklahoma at BYU. Now BYU is one of those shitty ass teams, but they want to keep it close when you least expect it. Oklahoma is one of the best programs in the nation, but they're took a hit against Kansas, and they took a hit against Oklahoma State in a rivalry game. Came out and did their thing. And they almost took a hit against UCF. BYU, on the other hand, coming to this one, losing bad against this West Virginia team by 30, who just got 20, damn near 30 piece by Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma to lay the big number, 25. BYU is not going to keep it close. Sacred Heart at UConn. Give me UConn. Navy at ECU. Give me ECU plus the 3. Navy isn't on a crumb. Navy ain't on nothing. I do like the over. ECU has no defense. Navy will score at least 16, 17. I like Navy. They just got a good win against UAB last week, but I'm not sold on that. I'm not gonna let that confuse me. I'm not gonna let that persuade me. You know what I'm saying? Like ECU shows way more grit and formidableness to start off the year than Navy. I got ECU. Penn State at Rutgers. Penn State, I got them boys to win the game outright. Rutgers is pretty good, but they can't throw the ball. They just a run heavy team. Winsett, he has to run a lot for them to be successful. I think Penn State shuts that shit down, man. Penn State to win the game by 20 points. I'll lay the 20. UL Monroe at Mississippi. Ole Miss with Jackson. Jackson Dart. Man, I gotta go with Ole Miss to win the game by 40. I gotta lay the number. UL Monroe isn't gonna be on this team's level. 6-0 at home versus 0-4 on the road. UL Monroe is not on nobody's level except App State's. I got Ole Miss to lay the big number, man. And the over. Ole Miss might put up 70. Ole Miss might put up 70. It might be 70 to 20, 70 to 10. You know what I'm saying? 63 to 17. 63 to 17. I got Ole Miss to lay the number in the over. Coastal Carolina at Army. Now, Army is one of those teams that's like, they couldn't get it done against UMass, but they got it done against an Air Force team that's pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? Too inconsistent. Coastal Carolina is way better. Came here, showed up in the last 4 games. I got Coastal Carolina. They figured it out. I got the later number with Coastal Carolina. UMass at Liberty, 10-0 Liberty. I got Liberty to lay the 4 touchdowns. Liberty is out of their tax bracket. Next up, we got Middle Tennessee at UTEP. Now, both teams are garbage. I like the under in this one. Very run-heavy teams. I like the under. This should be set at 41. I like the under, and I like Middle Tennessee to get the job done. At home, on the money line. Rice at Charlotte. Let me get Rice. JT Daniels and them boys is much better than Charlotte. I like JT Daniels and his offensive and the offensive coordinator has much more dynamic plays. I like Rice with the big playability. Give me Rice to lay the 3. Louisiana Tech at Jacksonville State. I got Jacksonville State. I think Jacksonville State will win this game by at least 7. But I like the over, too. Louisiana Tech has no defense, and Jacksonville State defense is subpar. I like Jacksonville State to win by a touchdown and the over. Appalachian State at James Madison. Give me James Madison 10-0 to lay the number. 10-0. I think they beat these boys by 25 or more. App State is not on a crumb this year. App State has a down year. If you let UL Monroe almost beat you and you end up winning by 1 on an onside, on a lucky onside kick wins you the game, you're not on James Madison's level. Give me James Madison to lay the 10 points. Hawaii at Wyoming. We already know Wyoming's better. Hawaii's not that good, especially on the road. They play their best basketball in Hawaii at late night. And Wyoming's going to run away with this one by 2 touchdowns. I got the number to lay with Wyoming. Ball State at Kent State. Now I got to go with Ball State in this one. I've never been on Ball State the whole year, but Ball State is much better than Kent State. I like Ball State to win that one by at least 7. I don't know if they're winning by 2 touchdowns, but 7-point win for Ball State. Cincinnati at West Virginia. And West Virginia, they got their shit blown off. But, you know what I'm saying? Cincinnati, what have they done? Since that Miami of Ohio loss, they beat Houston last week. But look at the Miami of Ohio loss. Since they lost that game, dog, what have they done? Stinked up the place. I gotta go with West Virginia in this one at home. 4-1 at home. Give me West Virginia. Utah at Arizona. Arizona's ranked now. Remember at the beginning of the year against this weak ass Mississippi State team, people were calling me crazy because I picked Arizona to beat Mississippi State. And they took them to overtime and lost. But after that, lost against the two best teams in the nation. Well, not the best teams, but I know Washington is. And that was a 7-point loss. Beat Washington State, beat Oregon State, beat UCLA. Like, oh my goodness. Running through them boys, too. Utah is also a good juggernaut, too. But they got shitted on by Washington. It was a 7-point game, just like Arizona's. And they also got shitted on by Oregon State, about 14. I think this is a coin flip game. It's a coin flip. Who do you trust more? It's about who do you trust on defense more. Because both teams is going to score at will. Whose defense is better? We already know Utah's defense is known for being better. I got to go with Utah. Utah wins games by defense with two teams that's damn near arguably. I think Arizona's offense is better than Utah's. Don't get me wrong, I do. But defense in football is way more helpful than in basketball. I think I got to go with Utah on a slight lean. But I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona won this one as well. UAB, who just took a clunker last week against Temple. And I'm going to go with UAB again, man. I know they just took a clunker against Navy, but before that, they beat a great FAU team. And then they beat Memphis. Now, they lost to Memphis, which we were on Memphis. Lost to UTSA. We were on UTSA. Temple isn't on the crumb. 0-4. They haven't got a road win yet. And we're in week 12. I got to go with UAB. Nevada at Colorado State. Nevada's 2-8. Got them two lucky wins, and they then look back to the losing side. Give me Colorado State to win the game outright, money line. North Texas at Tulsa. I gotta go with North Texas. They're the better team. You know what I'm saying? Tulsa isn't on a crumb. I do like their quarterback at times, but he's very inconsistent. Give me the over and North Texas to win. Texas State at Arkansas State. And I've been on Arkansas State the whole year. Not the whole year. Some spots we were fading them. But I've been telling people Arkansas State's offense is pretty good this year. Like they could dial up some points. They could score in the 30s. But Texas State is one of those good teams, man. This will not be an easy game for Arkansas State to win. Texas State beat that Baylor team to start off the year. And Texas State last week was looking decent. They looked decent, but they ended up losing short. You know what I'm saying? Beat Georgia Southern before that. Arkansas State came in this one, lost to USA, but beat Raging Cajuns before that. Like I said, man, I think Arkansas State is a live dog at home. I like Arkansas State to get the job done right here. Money line, Arkansas State. Virginia is 2-8 versus 6-4 Duke, and it's only 4 points. Give me Duke. I'll lay a 7 with Duke. I'll buy it up to 7. Give me Duke. Ray Davis about to have a field day. Sam Houston, who's got their 2 lucky wins in the past 3 weeks. Against West Kentucky, you know what I'm saying? I like the Hilltoppers. Give me West Kentucky and the over. I think Sam Houston splits up at least 14 or 21, and West Kentucky is going to be in the 40s. Give me Western Kentucky to get a good feel-good win in the over. Virginia Tech at North Carolina State. North Carolina State is all right, but Virginia Tech just been on a heater. Kyron Drones, I'm not fading him right now. That boy's real. Give me Virginia Tech. I'll lay the 3 points. Wake Forest at Notre Dame. Wake Forest isn't on Notre Dame's level at all. It's a different tax bracket of a team. Give me Notre Dame on the money line. But I wouldn't lay that much points with Notre Dame. I know they could do it. I know they can. but I wouldn't risk it though. And give me Wake Forest to cover the spread towards the end of the season, and give me Notre Dame to win on the money line. UL Lafayette, Raging Cajuns, getting 16.5 points like they're a doormat against Troy. They couldn't cover this spread against well, they have covered 16 points in the last 4 games, 5 games, 6 games. Western Kentucky couldn't beat them. You know what I'm saying? I think Western Kentucky is on Raging Cajuns level. You're not going to be Raging Cajuns by 17, dog. Give me Raging Cajuns to cover the spread. Easy. I do think Troy still wins the game, though. North Carolina at Clemson. And we already know Clemson is one of those top dogs. They showed us last week. But I'm not backing up Clemson 2 times in a row. I got North Carolina to win the game outright. Duke, as you've seen, it took them boys to overtime. That's why I know Duke is going to cover the spread this week. After that Virginia loss and Georgia Tech loss, they've been looking to get back on their winning ways. Give me North Carolina and Drake May. UNLV 8-2 underdogs against Air Force. Give me UNLV in this one. Air Force took a clunker to Navy or Army. Yeah, the Army. And they didn't look good against Hawaii. They lost that game. Like Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? I got UNLV to win the game as an underdog. UCLA as USC. Give me UCLA. USC's been on an they've been counter tanking, so they don't. Man, they've been counter tanking. I got UCLA until I see otherwise from USC. Give me UCLA on the money line. Baylor at Texas Christian. TCU. Give me Baylor. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Give me Baylor to cover the 12.5. I don't think TCU's that good this year. Losing record, just like Baylor. You know what I'm saying? Give me Baylor to cover the spread easily. Illinois at Iowa. Under. Whenever you see Iowa, take the under. That's why the spread is at 30. But I think this might be the week we get over the total. Iowa's 8-2 somehow. I don't know. It's their defense though. Iowa's got one of the best defenses in this conference. Illinois is not that good this year. They're middle of the pack. But I do think Iowa is the better team here. Give me Iowa and the under. Georgia at Tennessee. 10-0 Georgia. 7-3. 5-0 at home is Tennessee. I think it's going to be very close. Tennessee might get an outright victory. Give me Tennessee plus the 10. I will sprinkle some on the money line. Minnesota at Ohio State. Ohio State is one of those teams that you don't want to get in the way of. Give me Ohio State to lay the 4 touchdowns against a terrible Minnesota team. I don't see what people see in Minnesota. Oregon at Arizona State. I'm laying a number with Oregon. Easily. Take the number with Oregon. Houston at Oklahoma State. I got to go Oklahoma State. Lay the 7. Houston just took a very bad loss last week. Oklahoma State is the better team. Just beat up on Oklahoma. Give me Oklahoma State to lay the 7 easily. New Mexico State at Auburn. Auburn's nobody special at all. I like New Mexico State to keep the game close in the first half only. I got New Mexico State to cover the first half spread only. UCF at Texas Tech. Texas Tech's 2.5 point favorite. And UCF is also one of those teams that I would like to back this week. I got UCF after beating the Oklahoma State Cowboys, who just beat Oklahoma. I got UCF. They've been playing very good the last 3 weeks. Give me UCF. Texas Tech is too inconsistent. Marshall is very inconsistent. But I don't know if South Alabama should be laying 11. I don't think so. I honestly don't. Give me Marshall plus the 10. I'm not high on Marshall at all. They keep continuing to let us down, but South Alabama is nobody. Old Dominion at Georgia Southern. I got the over in this game. Old Dominion can score, but I got Georgia Southern to win the game outright. I'll lay the 7. Lay the 7 with Georgia Southern in the over. Cal versus Stanford. Give me Cal all day long. I like the under. Two defensive teams. I think Cal's better on offense than Stanford. Stanford might be a little bit on their level, but Stanford's not on Cal level. Don't let the record fool you with Cal. Cal is much better than Stanford. Give me Stanford to win the game outright. Florida State about to shit on whoever that is. North Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Whoever that is. Like, North Alabama is not on a crumb. Give me the 40-point spread with Florida State. Kansas State at Kansas. Give me Kansas State. Kansas is a good team, don't get me wrong. But Kansas State is another level of a talent. You know what I'm saying? This will be a very close game. I think Kansas might be able to get in the back door. But I think Kansas State wins it by a field goal. Boise State at Utah State. Boise State ain't been on shit since the beginning of the year. Utah State still ain't on shit. Utah State come this one as a win against Nevada and then a win against San Diego State before getting 20-pieced by San Jose. Boise State beat up on a decent Wyoming team. Decent little win for them, and they almost won against Colorado State. Lost against Fresno. Yeah, let me get Boise State in this one. And a coin flip. This is pretty much a coin flip game. Who do you trust more? I got Boise State in a coin flip game. Give me Boise State on the money line. Wisconsin at Nebraska. Wisconsin at home versus Nebraska. And give me Nebraska. Nebraska, we were on them last week, and then Brock Purdy's little brother threw an interception on the 3-yard line to fucking foil the game. If he don't throw that interception, Nebraska's easily winning that game. Wisconsin's terrible. I got Nebraska. Win the game outright. Kentucky at South Carolina. Now, we already know Kentucky's the better team here, but Spencer Rattler is at home, and Kentucky is a little bit overrated. Like I said, man, college football is at its finest right now. I'm going to go with South Carolina to get the job done at home as an underdog. Florida at Missouri, and I'm going to go with Mizzou in this one. Mizzou's 8-2 for a reason. 5-1 at home where they play their best football. I can't trust Florida on the road, 1-3. Give me Mizzou to lay the 7. I'll lay 7, not double digits, but I'll lay 7 with Mizzou. FIU, terrible. Getting 29.5 with Arkansas. Another terrible team, but Arkansas is clearly better competition. Give me Arkansas to win the game outright, but I don't know about 30 points. Washington, underdog against Oregon State, dog. A lossless team is the underdog. Give me Washington. If it's injuries I don't know about, let me know in the comments. But if everybody's healthy on Washington, give me Washington. I'll buy the points up to -7 for Washington. Georgia State at Louisiana State, LSU. We're not gonna fucking bet LSU. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna bet them against Georgia State team. We already know LSU is way better. Georgia State's not gonna hang. Georgia State is struggling with App State. You know what I'm saying? Struggling with Georgia Southern. We already know LSU is going to beat these boys by 40. I'll take the number with LSU. We're not betting it, though, but if I had to, I would pick the points with LSU. Georgia Tech's favored against Syracuse, and I believe why. I see why. I got Georgia Tech to win the game. After that Bowling Green game, though, I just got off Georgia Tech as a whole entirety. But if I had to pick a side, I got to go with Georgia Tech. Texas at Iowa State, and I like Texas in this one to get the job done by double digits. Iowa State isn't that good. They're good, but they're not that good against Texas. Give me Texas to win the game by 10 points or more. New New Mexico at Fresno State. Give me Fresno State to win the game on the money line. They might be able to cover that spread though, but I'll take it with 2 touchdowns instead of like 3. Give me 2 touchdown win for Fresno, and I like the over. And last game on the slate, we got San Jose State laying 15 against San Diego State. Give me the points with San Diego State in a very late night game. It's going to be very close. Nobody's going to run away with it. Give me San Diego State to cover the 14. And that's how we're going to conclude this week's NCAA football slate. And you know, as usual, I'm going to cook up a parlay for y'all. And I think I got a good parlay for y'all this week. Like I said, man, it's been very, very good to us the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to start out with Washington. Washington on the money line. Take them. That's a lock. Nebraska, money line. We got Nebraska, Washington, UCF on the money line. Nebraska, Washington, UCF. I got UCLA on the money line, and I got UNC on the money line as well. Those are my 4 underdog locks, and I like the favorites of Virginia Tech as a favorite, Duke as a favorite. So we got Virginia Tech, Duke, and I also like Utah against AZ as a favorite. And those are my 3 favorites, and Jacksonville State is also a favorite. 4 favorites and 4 underdogs. Put them together. Let's make money. Continue to stab the books. We're going to sting them. Keep stinging these boys, man. Let's keep stinging the books. Underdog King checking out. Till next time, we're going to hit these boys where it hurt. Leave me your best 4 teams of the week, and I'm going to give y'all my best 4 teams every week. It's your boy, Yo. Subscribe for more.